Well, Pakistan cricket have never been short of talent. In fact, it never has been. What it does lack, however, are three key things: continuity, leadership, and patience. Now, they've made a change. Salman Ali Agha has come into more of a leadership role. Now, I guess the question everyone's asking is, can Salman make Pakistan cricket great again? Well, I think the answer in short is yes, he can, but only if he's given really sound support. When I think of Salman Ali Agha, I think about the time that I've spent with him coaching him at Islamabad United. And there are three words that spring to mind: composed, certainly has game awareness, and that tactical flexibility. Now, when Salman joined Islamabad United, it wasn't as a captain, but he certainly was one of the leadership group. He certainly worked with Shadab Khan and all the other senior players, had plenty of good cricketing discussions. He was composed under pressure. So even out in the park at the highest pressure situation, he was very calm. He was methodical in terms of how he went about things. We talk about game awareness. I mean, we asked Salman Ali Agha to take on different roles from a personal point of view, in terms of batting at three, which was quite different than he was used to. He was incredibly aware of what the team was required to win the game. He worked with those around him to try and get the best out of them as well. And he worked as a part of a team of leaders. And as I said, although he wasn't captain, he certainly was a very strong influence within our group. We talk about the tactical flexibility. You know, in a game, it's about making sure you can read the game, you can adjust your style with both bat or ball. Obviously, Salman bowls off spin as well. So the different phases of the game that he had to come in and bowl, the flexibility and the understanding of all the different roles within his team. So for me, the type of leader that Pakistan needs is quite an inclusive one that actually can communicate with the rest of that leadership group, can get the best out of them, can back the young players coming into the squad and support them and really drive the team in a direction that he wants Pakistan cricket to go. For me, these are key parts of leadership, and Salman Ali Agha certainly aligns with all three of those. For me, the most important one is around having tactical clarity. And the reason why I talk about that is it's when you're under the immense pressure of a game, and the game's going one way or another, you have to have real clarity and confidence in the way you want the team to operate. And you can't be swayed by pressure. And you have to be able to instill that confidence in the rest of your team. The biggest part of tactical clarity for me is around role definition, making sure that everybody in the team understands their role, the expectations that Salman has of those players, and therefore they'll be judged accordingly. So your role is defined by what does that team need from me at this moment in time. So whether it's I'm a middle order player, I have to come out and take on my matchups, whether it's against certain types of bowlers, whether it's my role is to bookend the innings with the ball at the start and at the end, whatever it is, it's discussed, it's defined, therefore you've got a good chance of going out and being able to execute it. And your captain has to drive that. Your captain has to be part of that and understanding what everybody in the team is expected to do. Therefore, you're not asking somebody to do something that they haven't practiced, first and foremost, and they're not very confident in terms of executing. And that leads to your team first mentality. Well, you can only have that when all of those players are aligned, in terms of, if I do my role, I help play my part to help the team win the game. And that's the only part that you need to focus on. And you can only have that if, obviously, you have tactical clarity in the style of play that you know you want the team to play. Everyone understands that. Everyone's thinking about the team. And Salman Ali Agha, the captain, knows that he's got the backing of everybody behind the scenes to be able to enforce this, because it's not going to work every single time. There needs a little bit of time to embed it. There's going to be time for mistakes to happen, and there's going to be time for the selectors and Salman Ali Agha to make sure he's got the right people on the right seat on the bus. The next area which was very important is around here. What's the PCB's role in this appointment? And what's their role in actually making sure that Salman Ali Agha has a good chance of being successful? And probably more so, what does the Pakistan team have in being successful? They have to, in my view, if they've spent the time making sure that Salman Ali Agha is the right guy for them, then they have to actually give him some authority. They actually have to give him some control to make decisions. Because being a captain of a cricket team is not just about moving fielders in the circle. You know, it's actually about trying to drive the team forward in terms of how you're going to play the game, in terms of the types of players that you need on the park that you have confidence in when the team's under pressure. You need to have trust in them. They need to have trust in you. They need to know that, what you say as a captain, you're going to be able to follow through with. And if at every pass you don't have that authority or you don't have that trust, you can't make any decisions with confidence. The last part of that is the selection committee has to be on board. Because if you're trying to make change, if you're trying to drive this team in a certain direction, you're not going to win every game. So if all of a sudden someone in that selection panel gets a little bit under pressure and goes, well, hang on, we have to make sure we win this game, and gets involved and creates different pressure points, then you're going to go absolutely nowhere. So all you need from the PCB is real stability, real support, and real continuity. You get that, then that actually gives your coach and your captain and your team a chance to drive the team in the right direction. So what I talk about here is I guess, possible 11 roles. So in your team, what I think is really important is you define roles that are aligned to the modern game. And what I mean by that is you don't have, for example, you don't have a player that's going to bat through the innings. That idea of having stability of someone to bat through the innings is very outdated, and it doesn't align to your team getting a winning score. Same with bowling. You can't just have guys in the team that are good with a new ball. They have to be able to do a variety of roles. So what I would do first, if I was Salman, is I would actually define the roles that you want. Forget names. Define the roles you want. These are the roles we need to fill. And then fill in, obviously, the key players first, the ones that you think are going to be the senior players helping you instill this style of play in Pakistan. And the beauty you've got here, from Salman's perspective, is it's almost a blank canvas. Pakistan at the moment are miles behind in terms of the style of play in white ball cricket. So it's actually a really exciting opportunity. You could define, hey, if we want to be the best team in the world, what are the types of players we need and what are the roles we need? Therefore, when you're starting to select it, you're actually looking at players and saying, hey, can they fulfill those roles? So if it's a number 6 batter, do they have the ability to start well against spin? And that's wrist spin as well. Do they have the ability to not only maneuver the ball to get underway, but to hit pockets for boundaries early on? Do they have the ability, when they're batting at the back end, to attack genuine pace? Because if you're a finisher in a white ball innings, you're either going to face wrist spin or you're going to face genuine pace, which are your best bowlers coming back. So there's no point having a middle over finisher if they don't have those skills. If they don't pick them. Try and find the right person for that set. And if the other players, so for example, if you've got a middle order player, say an Usman Khan, okay, he's trying to find himself a slot in the middle order. He might not have the roles that we talked about in terms of the ability to attack genuine pace at the back end of the innings, but he might be very good at hitting spin through the middle, manoeuvring the ball, etc. So you define a role, and that player's got to try and show that they're good enough to perform that role.
Right.
You've got your leadership group, and I think it's really important that Salman's got some people around him in that group that he trusts, that also have a similar view in terms of where the team is going. And certainly your coach can be part of that. I think your selection manager or convener or selector should also be well aware of the style of play that's been agreed to, and therefore the roles and the definition, or the role clarity and the definitional job descriptions that are given for every role. And right in the middle of my whiteboard here is media noise. And we know that this will always be there. So the challenge for the PCB to support the Pakistan cricket team is to make sure that they are able to keep that away from the players. Because the reality is, as I said, whenever you make change, and change we know has been a constant in recent years, whenever we make change, it's not going to be an automatic fix. Okay, you might win a series straight away, so you might get a bit of relief, but there will always be a time where you don't play particularly well, or the way the style of play is challenged, or some of your leaders are under pressure because of their own personal performance. The key thing is that this is removed. Okay, so the decisions are not made via YouTube, Twitter, ex-players going on a TV show, bagging current team or whatever it is. That will always happen. People are all out there trying to give their opinion, and some of it's educated, some of it's not. And that's just the way it is. So the key from the PCB point of view is making sure that there does not influence decisions. They make sure that they're very well aware of the direction the team's going, and absolutely they challenge that from time to time behind closed doors, but they certainly don't do it out in the public. The next key part is around planning and understanding pinnacle events and making sure that that's where you're looking to focus. So obviously there's just been a pinnacle event, Champions Trophy. There's a whole heap in the years to come. The next one will be the T20 World Cup. So that is something that you're focusing on. Now for me, it's a matter of working backwards from that date. So you know when the date is, you know exactly how many days and how many internationals you have between now and then. So let's say, for example, you've got 30 T20s between now and the next T20 World Cup, and you've got 10 series. What you'll do with the bilateral series is you'll put down 2 or 3 key ones in there that you'll go, those we're going to treat as pinnacle events, because that's going to basically test us where we'll pick our best team. We're going to challenge us to make sure that our strategies being challenged, make sure we're on the right track in terms of our style of play, heading into the major pinnacle event. The other bilateral series are all about introducing new players at the right time. So you might say, look, at the moment we've got depth in the top 3 in T20, but we're struggling to have some real power through the middle order. So we need to introduce some new power players, some multi-skilled players in that role 6 or 7. So players that can attack, wrist spin, can see the side through to a victory at the end, have genuine power, and they can offer us some overs with the ball. So, for example, we'll go, righto, during the bilateral series against Sri Lanka, we're going to introduce 2 or 3 new players. So you plan that out. You educate and you inform everybody. So the PCB, whether it be the selection committee, whether it be the cricket manager, whoever it is, they're well aware of your plan over the next 2 years, so they know what series is a chance for you to introduce new players, to try new playing strategies, so that when you arrive at one of these pinnacle events, you've tried everything. You're completely comfortable with the players you have, very comfortable with the style of play, and you've also got replacements for all positions. So if we have an issue like we had with Salman Ali Agha heading into the Champions Trophy, straight away we've got a replacement, and then if that happens, we saw Fakhar Zaman was injured as well. All of a sudden we've got another player in our depth chart as well who perform the same role. They're an aggressive opener. They take on the new ball. So we don't have to change the whole shape of our play just because somebody gets injured at the last minute. For me, the PCB have got a golden opportunity with Salman Ali Agha. So if they trust him, then they need to support him. And they need to give him the time and the support to make definite change to Pakistan cricket. If they do, they've got a real opportunity to move this team forward. If they revert to the same methods of the second guessing, the undermining, the jumping at shadows, so if they lose the odd game, the jumping and reacting to outside influences, then we'll get the same result. And there'll be a new Salman Ali Agha come in 2 months' time or 6 months' time, and Pakistan cricket will start all over again. So great opportunity with Salman. I just hope they really support him and they understand the importance of this moment in time. What do you think? Can Salman Ali Agha bring positive change to Pakistan cricket? Will the PCB support him through thick and thin? Let me know what you think. Post your comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more cricket analysis.